There are three things in life that are guaranteed: death, taxes, and another Warhammer edition. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek video. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from the office, where I am going to talk to you, or the Geek Lair. Was that what we went with? The something. We came with something. I can't remember now. But we had a name for this place. Anyway, I got off track already. That is just how I work. That is the brain of a genius, or the brain of a bowl of oatmeal. Either which way, I'm here to talk about something that I think always is in the mind of 40K players, especially, but is in the mind of pretty much every single Games Workshop gamer system that there is out there. And that is that there have been a lot of additions. I mean, we're on the 9th edition of 40K. They came a lot slower back in the day, and then there were some that were much faster. They come and they last for certain periods of time since Rogue Trader, and you have the game that keeps going, and then it gets turned into a new edition to greater or lesser differences that are made to the system. So you have big changes like the change from 7th to 8th. You have lesser changes like 6th to 7th, and those kind of things where the edition changes, the rules change, things change. You have to get a new book. That's usually how it works. And at the end of the day, we always know to expect them to happen. They started with 8th edition when it came in. They said that this was going to be the last brand new edition, and that quickly changed when they went to 9th edition and decided to come out with a brand new edition with that. I was one of the defenders after 8th when they changed, and they said, this is the last edition, this is the last new Warhammer, and this is what we're going to have, and I figured they would just have like a living rule set that would go. 9th edition then came out, and it was a brand new edition with new rules, a new rule book, and everything like that. And at that point, they've turned it into basically a living rulebook, where they've been making changes through the FAQs, through the balanced data slates. They've been changing things to make it a living rulebook. And I don't have faith that this is the last edition that we'll ever see. I'm sure we will see a 10th edition that will come out with a brand new book that'll include a lot of the changes that they've been making, and possibly some other changes along the way to create a newer edition that they feel is better. Because that's what they try to do with each new edition, is create something that feels better, that plays better, that is a better edition. Because why come out with a new one? And before you say, because they want to make money, it's like they can make money doing whatever they want. They could print out a whole 1,000 Octarius books. They could make a new Space Marine Codex every 3 months if all they're looking to do is make money. Making new editions, unless there's a big reason for it, is a much harder endeavor to make money from than to just make a new book. I mean, they're coming out with GT packs every 6 months now, so if all they're looking to do is make money, they're doing it that way anyway. There's no need to come out with a brand new edition. But they will, because that's just how it is. And I kind of want to talk about what I see as the end game for 9th edition, and talk about what I foresee being maybe into the 10th edition. And to think about it, you kind of have to have an understanding and open your eyes out to kind of the way things have worked in their various editions that they've done, and in the various game systems that they have. So, for instance, going into 9th edition, they had some of the changes that they've made with AOS that they've included with it in order to make the game run better in their opinion. If you look at the secondaries, the way the secondary system works in 9th edition, that is basically essentially what happened with Kill Team Arena, when they had you choose your secondaries and you play with them going into that. And it's also how they've gone into Kill Team 2021, but the point is that they try to borrow ideas from their systems that come out that become popular. And if you look at some of the ones that the changes that they've made into 40K through the different editions, they've included these kind of changes. And I think that will be seen going forward further. There's a lot of talk about reactions now in Horus Heresy, or the new Horus Heresy system that they have. And people are talking about these reactions, that it's a way to make sure that you always have something that you can do in the game, keeps you engaged in it, so that you don't just have these whole time periods where your opponent is just playing their game and you're sitting there just rolling saves and removing models. And at the end of the day, I think people are excited about the potential for having more engagement throughout the whole process of the game. And I could see them doing that in 40K easily enough. Make stratagems instead of what they have now. They could be reactions instead. And you have a certain number of reaction points that you could spend to do reactions during the game, because they seem pretty interesting from what I've seen. I haven't looked into I haven't seen the rule books, but I've seen what people have been talking about since they went to the Horus Heresy event, and it looks kind of interesting from what they've been able to do. So, and I could see them doing that, because people have complained about too many stratagems. I personally enjoy stratagems. I think it adds another layer to the game that is fun to play with, and it makes it interesting. And to be honest, it's the thing that adds that extra layer of engagement onto the game that reactions could also provide. So if they find a way to make reactions better than stratagems, I'm sure that would cause a lot of people to be happy about stratagems changing, because there's a lot of people out there who don't particularly like the way stratagems work and find them a bit too complicated. And I could see a system with reactions being less complicated than a deck full of stratagems, but still give you that flavor to the game and allow you to keep engaged and change the way things happen. So it's not just straight up you rolling your dice and going back and forth shooting and taking armor saves. You also have to kind of look at the way they've developed a lot of their other systems that they have. So if you look at the new edition of Kill Team, it borrows a lot from what they did with Warcry. It borrowed a lot of what they did with Warcry. It also borrowed aspects of like Kill Team Arena that they had for, in the previous edition of Kill Team. And they combined it into a system that, quite frankly, I love. I really love the Kill Team system. It's a lot of fun to play. It's quick. It's streamlined to the point of enjoyability without being too crunchy, because I'm not a big fan of crunchy games. If I wanted a crunchy game, I'd probably go play Infinity. But I don't want to. I'd rather have a game that flows smoothly, that still makes you think, still has to make tactical decisions, still got to do a lot of stuff, but I don't want to have to sit there and crunch through a whole game. And they've done a great job of that with the new Kill Team system. And I could see them trying to look at that as well for stuff like in 40K. One of the big things that people have really enjoyed is the alternating activations that you have in Kill Team. And I could see them doing something like that in 40K, so that you have each turn consists of the shooting phase, and you alternate activations back and forth, or you have the alternate with movement phase, you alternate with the shooting phase, and you alternate back and forth choosing units that activate for that. So if you have a very, very punchy army, then perhaps you're not doing as much during the shooting phase, and your opponent will be able to shoot with more of their units if they've got a very shooty army. But otherwise, you can alternate back and forth. So you say, okay, I'm going to shoot with my, my Basilisk. And now it's like, okay, well then I'm going to respond by shooting this other squad over here with my, with my Talon Master. And you can alternate back and forth like that. It causes you to think about the game differently, but again, gets more into that ongoing engagement that I think is something that they want to encourage. Obviously, alternating activations with units is a lot easier if you have a small skirmish game like Kill Team, and I don't foresee them doing each unit does everything. So you wouldn't activate a unit, move it, shoot it, charge it, punch it, do whatever. I could see them saying, all right, we've got this, the phase. So we've got the movement phase. I will move my one unit. You move your unit. And then I would have my next unit that I would move would be based upon how they moved their unit, and back and forth until every unit has moved. Then go into the shooting phase. Every unit gets activated and shot individually. I don't see them doing like they did with when they did the what's it called? The Apocalypse game that they came out where they had the tokens and you didn't remove anything until the end of the phase. That gets a little complicated and a bit too much to keep track of. But being able to just go through each unit and go through them and shoot them, I could see being a pretty popular choice, you know. And it's not like any of your units would get more tension than others, you know, because as it is, if your opponent was shooting at you, they could shoot everything at the one unit before you activated it anyway. And now you have the chance to maybe activate them and shoot before they die because you know that they're going to be focused down. So I could see something like that happening, which I think would be super cool. It would be super interesting to see if it would work. I haven't tried it myself. I know it works in Kill Team 2021, but that's it. That's all I really know. That's all I really know from that. So it would be kind of cool to see it, to see that kind of happen. And I could see them trying that because you could see that kind of ongoing interaction with people back and forth as opposed to having long stretches of doing nothing. Be something that they're concerned about, be something that they're thinking about in their design for these other games like Kill Team 2021, like the Horus Heresy stuff with the reactions. So that's what I could see it. I could see it being something totally different. I could see it something new. At the end of the day, we know it's going to come, and I foresee it happening probably, I would imagine, in the next year and a half, 2 years. You know, what do we have left to come out with codexes? We've got Chaos Space Marines going to be coming out soon. Knights are already out. We've got Imperial Guard that still has to come out. Demons still has to come out. Is that it? Is that Chaos Space Marines, Demons, Imperial Guard? Yeah, I think that might be it. Maybe, I don't know if they'll do something, maybe an Inquisition or... although they came out with the rules for Inquisition in the... what were they called? The book system. I can't remember it offhand right now. But essentially the rules that they came out with as part of those, they've got newer rules that have come out in 9th edition for Inquisition. They've come out with 9th edition rules for the Assassins. So I could see them just kind of letting that count as it for this. Because, I mean, last time when they came out with 7th edition, they had the Agents of the Imperium, and it was out for like 3 months before they switched to 8th edition. So, you know, I could see them just kind of going with those and let them move on to the next thing. It would be interesting to see if they seriously push the storyline at the end of 9th into 10th. Maybe have the Indomitus Crusade falter, you know, the arrival of a brand new code. Oh, I guess they're also coming out with the World Eaters Codex. That's another one, because they've announced that they're going to be coming out with that. So that's going to be another one that's going to be coming out. So it'll be interesting to see once they come out with all the codexes, what they do. And we'll be interested to see if 10th edition becomes something wholly different than 9th edition that requires another... I don't see them... I don't see that. I was going to say maybe they'll do a whole new reset like they did 7th to 8th. I don't see them doing that. I could see them now, because of the way they've changed their publication system, I could see them doing just 10th edition being a twist on 9th edition, that the codexes would still work. So, and it wouldn't be hard to do that. I guess you would just have to cancel out... If you wanted to get rid of stratagems, get rid of the stratagems, and then you no longer use them from the book. Is easy enough to do. If you do want to use stratagems, or you don't want to use certain kinds, you just come up with an FAQ of stratagems that are no longer viable. Or you just add another whole set of reactions. You know, that's a publication of reactions that can come out, and then they'll have new reactions when they come out with their 10th edition codex that will eventually come out. I can see them doing that. You know, at the release of 10th edition, you have the book o reactions. You know, you get your basic ones. They'll probably be in the main rulebook, and then you have your book o reactions for all of the different armies that are out there, and then they get new ones as they come out. So almost like an index of reactions until you finally get, or compendium of reactions, as Kill Team players might understand. I can see them doing something like that. It'll be interesting, but it'll be interesting to see if this story gets pushed forward. If they decide to make it where either the Indomitus Crusade falters, and then you have more of a rising of chaos. Maybe that would be a way to lead it in here towards the end. If you have, you know, if you come out with the Chaos Space Marines, and then you come out with the Imperial Guard Codex, and then you come out with the World Eaters and the Demons at the end there, it could be just like a final push on Terra, which would be a really interesting thing, because they seem to be less adverse to pushing the narrative forward. They've had a lot of big things happen. Maybe you have Angron come along with the World Eaters Codex, and he just becomes a big old angry boy to butt heads with Gilliman and all the rest of those on Terra, and have a new siege of Terra as they go forward there, because they're still doing the books for Siege of Terra. Maybe that's the tie-in. They finish up doing the Siege of Terra books, talking about the old Siege of Terra, folded into a new Siege of Terra in 40K, as the Indomitus Crusade kind of falters a bit. That That would be fun. That'd be interesting. I don't know if they're going to be doing that. That would take a lot of effort to do, and it wouldn't be hard to then like come back from that world. Since like the powers of the Imperium survive, and they managed to have it, and they pushed them back and started again. The 15th or 14th Black Crusade. We'll go back into that one then. But yes, I could see something like that happen. I think it would be kind of interesting to see a push forward of the storyline and see that kind of develop. Would be kind of cool. But let me know down below what you think. What do you think we can expect in 10th edition that is going to be coming at us? Because it will. It always will. It always does. It always has. And it always will. But let me know down below what you think is going to be coming. What you think they should do to change up 9th edition. I don't, if you're just going to say it's like, it's too rules bloaty and there's codex creep and it's imbalance. Okay. I mean, I don't think that there's like a rule thing that you could change with that to fix that. But is there something else? Would you like to see alternating activations with units? Would you like to see something like a reaction system as opposed to a stratagem system? I think that it was very cool and a very unique system to come up with, the stratagem system. And then when they first started out there, it was fun to see them and fun to play with them and fun to have them. And I think that people are now overwhelmed with some of them because some of them can be better than others. But it would be interesting to see what they would do instead, because I don't think getting rid of them and not having something to replace it is the way forward, because that sounds boring to me, honestly. I like stratagems. I think I like that aspect that changes the flow of the game, that changes the way things happen. And something like a reaction system would be kind of cool to have in its place, but there better be something if you're going to get rid of them. So, but let me know what you think below, what changes you think would be fun to have in the new 10th edition, what you think they're going to do at the end of 9th edition, if you think it's just going to kind of like meld into a 10th edition like some other editions, or do you think they're going to make a big deal of it and make a big event that could go along with it? Because I could see that happening too, like an Indomitus version for 10th edition to go into a brand new kind of story in a brand new area or a new time of Warhammer 40,000. But let me know down below and we can keep the conversation going. So I hope you guys have found this interesting. I certainly did. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.